Cold October air bites at your cheeks as you step out of your car into the pre-dawn darkness at Mather Point. Your breath forms small clouds that dissipate quickly in the dry desert air, and the temperature hovers just above freezing at 42 degrees. The parking lot is nearly empty, save for a handful of other early risers who have made the same pilgrimage you have to witness the Grand Canyon emerge from shadow into light. Your footsteps crunch softly on the graveled path as you make your way toward the rim. The sound seems amplified in the stillness, each step echoing off the visitor center building behind you. Above, the sky is a deep indigo canvas scattered with stars that pulse and shimmer in the thin mountain air. The Milky Way stretches across the heavens like a river of light, more brilliant here than you've ever seen it, unmarred by the light pollution of distant cities. As you approach the stone barrier at the rim, the first thing that strikes you is not what you see, but what you don't see. The canyon exists as an absence, a void of darker darkness against the star-filled sky. You can sense its vastness more than observe it, a presence that seems to pull at something deep in your chest. The silence is profound, broken only by the distant call of a great horned owl somewhere in the depths below, and the soft whisper of wind moving through the pinyon pines behind you. You find a spot along the rim wall and settle onto the cold stone, pulling your jacket tighter around your shoulders. The rock beneath you is rough limestone, worn smooth in places by countless hands and bodies that have rested here before you. You can feel its chill seeping through your clothes, but you don't mind. This discomfort is part of the ritual, part of earning what's to come. To your left, you hear the quiet murmur of a couple speaking in hushed tones, their words indistinct, but their reverence clear. Someone's camera clicks softly in the darkness, though there's little to capture yet. A thermos cap clinks against metal as someone pours coffee, and the rich aroma drifts your way, mixing with the clean scent of sage and the faint mineral smell that rises from the canyon itself. You check your phone. 5:47 in the morning. Sunrise isn't for another 36 minutes, but already you can sense something changing in the quality of the darkness. It's subtle, almost imperceptible, but the eastern horizon seems fractionally lighter than it was when you arrived. The stars directly overhead remain brilliant, but those near the horizon have begun to fade, overwhelmed by the approaching dawn. The wind picks up slightly, carrying with it the scent of autumn, dry leaves, cool earth, and something indefinably crisp that speaks of seasonal change. You can hear it moving through the canyon below, a sound like distant surf as it encounters the countless rock formations and cliff faces. Somewhere in that darkness, 2,000 feet down, the Colorado River continues its ancient work of carving deeper into the earth, though from here it's invisible and silent. As you sit in the darkness, Your eyes gradually adjust, and shapes begin to emerge from the void. What seemed like uniform blackness slowly reveals layers, the nearest rim catching just a hint of starlight, the suggestion of a butte rising from the depths, the barely perceptible line where canyon wall meets sky. It's like watching a photograph develop in slow motion, details materializing from nothing as your vision adapts to the low light. The temperature seems to drop another degree or two, and you flex your fingers to keep them warm. The stone beneath you radiates cold like a heat sink, drawing warmth from your body. But there's something meditative about the discomfort, about sitting still in the darkness while the earth slowly turns toward the sun. You become acutely aware of your place in space, perched on the edge of this vast chasm, on a planet spinning through the cosmos, waiting for your portion of the world to rotate into daylight. 20 minutes before sunrise, you make your way along the rim trail toward Hopi Point, your flashlight beam dancing across the paved path. The trail is well maintained, but narrow in places, with the canyon yawning to your right and a gentle slope dotted with juniper trees to your left. Other early risers move like ghosts along the path, their own lights bobbing in the darkness, everyone drawn by the same magnetic pull of the approaching dawn. The walk takes you through a small stand of gamble oak trees, their leaves rustling dryly overhead. In the darkness, you can't see their autumn colors, but you can hear them whispering secrets to each other in the pre-dawn breeze. The path curves gently, following the contours of the rim, and with each step, your anticipation builds like a physical pressure in your chest. As you reach Hopi Point, you understand immediately why this is considered one of the premier sunrise viewing locations on the South Rim. The viewpoint juts out into the canyon like the prow of a ship, offering an unobstructed view to the east, where the sun will soon appear. The platform is larger than the spot you just left at Mather Point, with stone benches and plenty of room for the dozen or so people who have already claimed their positions along the rim. You find a spot near the eastern edge of the viewpoint and settle in to wait. The stone barrier here is topped with a metal railing, and you rest your arms against it, feeling the cold metal through your jacket sleeves. The temperature has dropped to 38 degrees, and frost is beginning to form on the metal surfaces around you. Your breath comes in visible puffs now, and you cup your hands around your coffee mug, grateful for its warmth. To the east, the sky is definitely lighter now, though the sun itself remains hidden behind the far rim of the canyon. The horizon glows with the faintest suggestion of amber, so subtle you might question whether you're seeing it or imagining it. Above this hint of light, the sky transitions through deeper and deeper blues until it reaches the star-filled darkness directly overhead. Venus hangs like a brilliant jewel in the eastern sky, so bright it seems close enough to touch. The silence at Hopi Point is different from the silence at Mather Point, deeper somehow, more profound. The viewpoint extends further into the canyon, and you can feel the vast space surrounding you on three sides. When someone speaks, even in a whisper, their voice seems to be absorbed by the immensity, swallowed by the darkness that stretches for miles in every direction. As you wait, shapes begin to emerge from the gloom below. What appeared to be uniform darkness now reveals itself as a landscape of incredible complexity. Buttes and mesas rise from the canyon floor like sleeping giants, their silhouettes barely visible against the slightly lighter sky. The layered rock walls that step down into the depths become faintly distinguishable, each geological era marked by a subtle change in tone or texture that your eyes are only now beginning to perceive. The wind at Hopi Point moves differently than it did at Mather Point. Here, it swirls and eddies around the protruding viewpoint, creating microclimates of warmth and cold as air currents collide and separate. One moment you're hit by a gust that makes you pull your jacket tighter. The next, you're in a pocket of still air that feels almost warm by comparison. The sound of the wind is more complex too, a symphony of tones as it encounters the varied topography of the canyon walls and formations. Somewhere in the darkness below, a coyote calls, its voice rising and falling in the haunting song that speaks of wild places and ancient rhythms. The call is answered by another, more distant, and then another, until the canyon fills with their conversation. It's a sound that raises the hair on your arms, not from fear, but from the recognition of something primal and untamed. This is their time, these pre-dawn hours, when the canyon belongs to the creatures that call it home. The eastern sky continues to brighten imperceptibly, the amber glow spreading wider along the horizon. You check your phone again. 6 minutes until sunrise. Your heart begins to beat a little faster, though you're not sure why. Perhaps it's the anticipation, or perhaps it's something deeper, an evolutionary response to the approaching light that connects you to countless generations of humans who have watched the sun rise and felt hope kindle in their chests. 5 minutes before sunrise, you decide to move once more, this time to a quieter section of the South Rim Trail between Hopi Point and Mojave Point. The paved trail here runs directly along the rim, with no barriers between you and the drop-off, except your own good sense and sure footing. The path is wider here, allowing you to find a spot away from the small crowds that have gathered at the designated viewpoints. You choose a place where a large boulder provides a natural seat, its surface worn smooth by wind and weather. The rock is cold against your back as you lean into it, but solid and reassuring. From this position, you have an unobstructed view of the eastern horizon, where the sun will make its appearance in just a few minutes. The canyon spreads out before you like an amphitheater, its vast stage set for the daily drama of sunrise. The sky is definitely lighter now, no longer the deep indigo of full night, but not yet the blue of day. It's that magical in-between color that has no name, a shade that exists only in these transitional moments when night gives way to day. The amber glow on the eastern horizon has intensified and spread, reaching higher into the sky with each passing minute. Above it, bands of pale yellow and orange begin to appear, as if someone is painting the sky with watercolors, each brushstroke blending seamlessly into the next. The canyon below remains largely in shadow, but you can now make out individual rock formations with startling clarity. The Temple of Isis rises from the depths like a cathedral spire, its layered walls catching the faintest reflection of the growing light. Beyond it, Cheops Pyramid stands in stark silhouette, its geometric perfection a testament to the power of erosion to create beauty from chaos. The Colorado River, still invisible in the darkness of the inner gorge, makes its presence known by the deep shadow it carves between the towering walls. As you sit in the growing light, you become aware of the layers of rock that surround you, each one a chapter in the Earth's 4 billion year story. The Kaibab limestone beneath your feet formed in ancient seas, its surface littered with the fossils of creatures that lived and died when this place was an ocean floor. Below that, invisible from here, but present nonetheless, lie the Toroweap Formation, the Coconino Sandstone, the Hermit Formation, each layer representing millions of years of geological time compressed into stone. The wind has died down to almost nothing, creating a stillness that feels charged with potential energy. The silence is so complete that you can hear your own heartbeat, your own breathing, the soft rustle of your jacket as you shift position. It's as if the entire world is holding its breath, waiting for the moment when the sun clears the horizon and transforms this landscape from shadow to light. 3 minutes now. The eastern sky blazes with color, amber and gold and orange spreading across the horizon like spilled honey. The clouds that you couldn't see in the darkness now reveal themselves, their edges lit with fire, their centers still purple-black against the brightening sky. They stretch across the heavens in long, thin lines, like brushstrokes on a cosmic canvas, each one positioned perfectly to catch and reflect the coming light. You can feel the sun's approach now, not just see it. There's a warmth beginning to touch the eastern edge of the canyon, so subtle you might dismiss it as imagination, if not for the way it seems to wake up the landscape. Birds that have been silent through the night begin to stir, the liquid notes of a canyon wren echoing from somewhere in the depths below, the harsh call of a raven as it launches itself from a nearby pine tree and circles overhead before disappearing into the canyon. 2 minutes. The anticipation is almost unbearable now, a physical tension that makes you lean forward slightly, as if those few inches might help you see the sun sooner. The sky continues to lighten and brighten, the colors deepening and spreading until the entire eastern quadrant glows like the inside of a furnace. You realize you're holding your breath and force yourself to breathe normally, to stay present in this moment rather than rushing ahead to the next. The temperature begins to rise imperceptibly as the sun approaches the horizon. The frost on the metal railings starts to melt, creating tiny droplets that catch and reflect the growing light like scattered diamonds. The stone beneath you feels fractionally less cold, as if the rock itself is awakening after the long night. 1 minute. The glow on the horizon intensifies until it's almost too bright to look at directly. You can see the exact spot where the sun will appear, a notch in the far rim where the canyon wall dips slightly lower than the surrounding cliffs. The light builds and builds behind that rocky barrier, creating a golden aureole that spreads across the sky like dawn breaking over paradise. And then it happens. The first sliver of sun appears in the notch on the eastern rim, a brilliant crescent of fire that transforms everything in an instant. The light is so intense, so pure and golden, that it seems to have physical weight as it pours into the canyon. You squint against the brightness, your eyes watering slightly, but you can't look away. This is the moment you've been waiting for. The daily miracle that never loses its power to astonish. As more of the sun clears the horizon, its light begins to paint the canyon walls with impossible colors. The red sandstone of the Supai group catches the light and glows like heated metal, each layer distinct and brilliant. The white limestone of the Redwall Formation, which isn't red at all, but stained by iron oxides from the rocks above, shines like polished marble in the morning light. The bright angel shale, normally a dull gray-green, takes on subtle hues of purple and blue as the angled sunlight reveals textures and variations invisible in the flat light of midday. The transformation happens with breathtaking speed. Shadow and light chase each other across the canyon walls as the sun climbs higher, each minute bringing new revelations. A formation that was invisible in the darkness suddenly blazes with color as the light reaches it. A cliff face that appeared smooth and uniform reveals itself to be intricately carved with side canyons and alcoves, each one creating its own pattern of light and shadow. The Temple of Isis, which stood as a dark silhouette just moments ago, now glows like a beacon. The morning light strikes its eastern face and sets the red rock ablaze, while its western face remains in deep blue shadow, creating a dramatic contrast that emphasizes every detail of its weathered surface. You can see now why the early geologists gave these formations such grandiose names. In this light, they truly do resemble temples and pyramids, monuments built by forces so vast and patient that human comprehension can barely grasp them. As the sun continues to rise, the quality of light changes moment by moment. What began as a harsh, brilliant glare softens into the warm golden glow that photographers call the golden hour. This light is kind to everything it touches, bringing out colors and textures that remain hidden during other times of day. The canyon walls seem to glow from within, as if lit by some internal fire rather than by the sun above. The air itself becomes visible in the morning light, filled with tiny particles of dust and pollen that create golden shafts wherever the sun's rays slant between rock formations. These columns of light shift and dance as you watch, appearing and disappearing as the angle of the sun changes and new passages open between the canyon walls. It's like watching the breath of the canyon made visible, the constant movement of air currents that have been flowing through these spaces for millions of years. The temperature rises noticeably now as the sun climbs higher. You can feel the warmth on your face and hands, a welcome relief after the cold of the pre-dawn hours. The frost on the railings disappears completely, leaving only tiny droplets of water that evaporate quickly in the dry desert air. You unzip your jacket slightly, no longer needing its full protection against the cold. Birds that were silent through the night now fill the air with song. A white-throated swift darts overhead, its wings cutting through the morning air with precision and grace. Somewhere in the depths below, you hear the complex melody of a canyon wren, its descending notes seeming to capture the essence of this place in pure sound. The harsh call of a raven echoes from cliff to cliff, and in the distance you catch a glimpse of a red-tailed hawk riding the thermal currents that are beginning to form as the sun warms the rock faces. The play of light and shadow continues to evolve as the sun climbs higher. Formations that were brilliantly lit moments ago slip into shadow as the angle changes, while others emerge from darkness into blazing color. It's a constantly changing display, a light show choreographed by the movement of the earth itself. You realize that no two sunrises here are ever exactly the same. The angle of the sun, the position of clouds, the clarity of the air, all combine to create unique conditions that will never be repeated in exactly the same way. As you watch this transformation unfold, you become aware of your own breathing, your own heartbeat, your own small place in this vast landscape. The scale of what you're witnessing is almost overwhelming. These rocks are hundreds of millions of years old, carved by a river that has been flowing for millions of years, under a sun that has been rising and setting for billions of years. You are a momentary visitor in a story that began long before humans existed and will continue long after you're gone. 20 minutes after sunrise, you make your way west along the rim trail toward Hermit's Rest. The sun now high enough to warm your back as you walk. The trail here is less crowded than the eastern viewpoints, winding through a landscape of pinyon pines and Utah junipers, whose twisted trunks and branches create intricate patterns against the brightening sky. The trees are in their autumn dress, the gamble oaks showing brilliant yellows and oranges the mountain maples adding splashes of red to the palette of fall colors. Your footsteps are quieter now on the sun-warmed pavement, and you can hear the sounds of the canyon waking up around you. Chipmunks chatter in the trees overhead, their voices bright and musical in the morning air. A Steller's jay calls from somewhere ahead, its harsh cry soon answered by another from across the canyon. The wind has picked up slightly as the sun warms the rock faces and creates the first thermal currents of the day, carrying with it the scent of warming stone and the resinous smell of pine. As you round a curve in the trail, Hermit's Rest comes into view, a stone building that seems to grow from the canyon rim itself, designed by Mary Coulter to blend seamlessly with the natural landscape. The structure's rough-hewn walls and rustic appearance make it look as if it has been here for centuries rather than decades, a testament to the architect's understanding of how human structures should relate to this timeless place. You settle onto a stone bench near the building, positioned to take advantage of both the warming sun and the spectacular view to the west. From here, the canyon stretches away toward the distant north rim, its layers and formations clearly visible in the angled morning light. The Hermit Trail, one of the canyon's historic routes to the river, zigzags down the cliff face below you, its switchbacks carved into the rock like a ribbon draped over the canyon wall. The light has mellowed now from the brilliant intensity of sunrise into the warm golden glow that makes everything it touches seem to glow from within. The canyon walls across from you are fully illuminated, revealing details that were invisible in the shadows of early morning. You can see the distinct layers of rock that tell the story of this place. The Coconino sandstone, with its cross-bedded patterns that speak of ancient sand dunes. The red shales and mudstones of the Hermit Formation that formed in river deltas millions of years ago. The massive cliffs of Redwall limestone that once lay beneath tropical seas. A raven lands on the stone wall nearby, its black feathers gleaming with an almost metallic sheen in the morning light. It regards you with one bright eye, head tilted in that curious way ravens have, as if it's trying to understand what you're doing here. For a moment, you and the bird simply observe each other, two conscious beings sharing this moment in this ancient place. Then, with a soft rustle of wings, it launches itself into the canyon, riding the air currents with an ease that speaks of millions of years of evolution in this vertical landscape. The sun is warm on your face now, and you close your eyes for a moment to fully appreciate the sensation. The heat penetrates through your skin, warming muscles that were tight with cold just an hour ago. When you open your eyes again, the quality of light has shifted once more, becoming less golden and more white as the sun climbs higher into the sky. The dramatic shadows that defined the landscape at sunrise are beginning to soften and shrink, though they'll remain for several more hours before the harsh light of midday flattens everything into uniform brightness. You can hear voices now from other visitors who have made the pilgrimage to witness the sunrise, their conversations carried on the morning breeze. Someone laughs with delight at something they've seen, and the sound seems fitting in this place that inspires such joy and wonder. A camera shutter clicks repeatedly as someone tries to capture what you're experiencing, though you know that no photograph can truly convey the scale and majesty of what lies before you. The air is warming rapidly now as the sun climbs higher, and you can feel the first hints of the thermal currents that will build throughout the day. These rising columns of heated air are what allow the ravens and hawks to soar effortlessly above the canyon, riding the invisible elevators created by the sun's energy. In a few hours, the thermals will be strong enough to carry birds thousands of feet above the rim. But for now, they're just gentle currents that rustle the leaves of nearby trees and carry the sense of warming earth and vegetation. As you sit in the growing warmth, watching the light continue its slow transformation of the canyon landscape, you feel a deep sense of peace settling over you. There's something about witnessing sunrise in a place like this that puts your daily concerns into perspective, that connects you to rhythms and cycles far larger and more enduring than the small dramas of human life. The sun has been rising over this canyon for millions of mornings, and it will continue to rise for millions more, long after you and everyone you know have become part of the geological record themselves. The golden hour is beginning to fade now as the sun climbs higher, but the beauty of the canyon only deepens with the changing light. Colors that were brilliant and saturated in the early morning light begin to settle into the more subtle hues that will characterize the day. The reds become richer and deeper, the whites more pure and clean, the shadows more complex and nuanced. It's a different kind of beauty than the drama of sunrise, but no less magnificent. The steady, enduring beauty of a landscape that has been shaped by forces beyond human comprehension into something that speaks directly to the soul. You rise from the bench slowly, reluctant to leave, but knowing that the morning is advancing and other experiences await. As you take one last look at the canyon spread out before you, you carry with you not just the memory of what you've seen, but the feeling of having been present for one of nature's daily miracles. The sun continues its ancient journey across the sky, and the canyon settles into another day of its eternal existence, patient and enduring as it has been for millions of years and will be for millions more.